take a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am on a mission to help you to step into your power so that you can create the life you desire. Visit me at empoweredlifeprograms.com to learn more. Hello. I am going to be talking about rotational dating and what it is and how it helps to manifest love. So I'm going to try to keep it short. So rotational dating works very well when you make sure your dates are, especially first dates, are short and sweet. So if you're going to meet someone for the first time, I suggest only meet them for coffee or a drink after work or something like that. And always make sure you've got a way to get out. Like, okay, I'm going to have to go to pick up my child from school or something, whatever it is, right? So I always have a really short first date lined up. Don't go for anything longer. The last thing I want to do is sit through a meal with someone I can't stand. And first impressions are pretty big, and he's meant to be on his best behavior. And despite that, I had a lot of duds on first dates. I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I've only decided to meet this one for coffee, because he's really not it. He's never going to be what I want, right? So that's first thing. Second thing is, don't lock yourself into one person if you're not in a relationship, or if you're not at least moving towards that relationship. So, for example, you've been on one date, you enjoyed it, you'd be happy to see him again, but this is where you lean back and let him ask you out again if he wants to. He may not want to, and that might not have anything to do with you. You could be the juiciest peach on the tree. He might not like peaches, who knows? But you've got to let him lead at this point. And one of a really good way to let them do that is to make sure he's not the only one in front of you. So you may have 2 dates lined up this week. So you've finished with date 1. It was great. You'd really like to see him again. You've got date 2 coming up. And instead of sitting at home watching the phone and hoping he'll message you or call you to ask you out, you can focus on the next date that you've got coming up. So rotational dating works as a way to show you, well, for me, this is what it did for me. It actually showed me how valuable and desirable I was, because I didn't believe I was before I started this. Now, when I was first introduced to the idea of it, I just went, oh, there is no way I could do that. And then I came across this girl at I can't remember what it was. I was at an event and she was telling me how she had 8 men in rotation. I'm like, 8? Oh my goodness me. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, she was telling me about it, and I'm just like, it was almost like I was just like, oh my goodness. It was like, she was like a goddess that just had these men just lining up to take her out. And little did I know that, I think it was less than a year later, it was maybe only a few months later, I had the same thing going on. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And like, I'm no supermodel, as you can see, but there was something going on in me energetically. And I guess because I had so many there, I actually felt desirable, and my thoughts and emotions were all aligned with this being desirable. And I guess that's what I created. So by putting myself out there, that was the aligned action. I was creating a situation where I was being shown constantly how desirable I was. And that was really awesome. And when I got done with that, because it can be a bit trying after a while. Then actually, no, before I keep going, I want to say to the guys, don't worry. This isn't about leading men on or anything like that. Like, my first dates were always a walk around the park, or a quick drink after work, or a coffee date, or something like that. Something short and sweet and cheap. Because it gave me the opportunity to decide if I really wanted to date this fella again, right? And I'm assuming he would be thinking the same thing. And some didn't. and some did. But for the ones that didn't, if I liked them and they didn't like me, it stopped me being all butthurt about it, because it's like, well, thank God, because I've got these other 3 dates this week and I'm gonna be so busy. But yeah, it helped me to stay detached. Now, if I met someone, and I met a few people along the way that I thought, oh, actually, he actually could be a really, and he was making it clear he liked me and blah, blah, blah. The rotation disappeared immediately. It wasn't like I kept it going. Now, some coaches say to keep it going until you've got the ring on your finger, and that just did not sit for me at all. Didn't sit well at all. So I basically would drop the rotation the second I met someone who had really good potential. And I'd say never focus on potential, focus on reality. But this, in the dating stage, because I wasn't so attached anymore, because I'd had these rotations, I knew I was desirable. And if things didn't work out with this guy, I'd start the rotation again. It helped me to stay really detached. And when I met Laurie, I'd not had the rotation in, oh God, probably 6 months to a year before I met him, because I didn't need it anymore. Because what I needed it for was to help me detach, for starters, but also to teach me that I was actually desirable. Okay. Now, if you haven't worked out yet what rotational dating is, it's basically, it's like having a dance card and you might have 10 different names on it. And on Monday, you might date this one, and Tuesday, this one, Wednesday, this one, and so on. And if they're all first dates, you'll usually know most of the time if you want to see any of them again. And most of them will be a no. And like I keep telling people, 99% of people you meet will not be your match. So just keep that in mind. So if you decide you don't want to see them again, you let them know and someone else can take his place. But in the meantime, you're not leading him on, and you just continue on until you're sure. Now, I used to have a 3-date rule where if by the 3rd date it wasn't an F yes, then it was a no, and I would let him go at that point, because I didn't want to lead anyone on. But it really helped me to be in my power and know that I was being that desired person, that I had other dates lined up when I was in front of someone. But when I was in front of someone, he was my only focus. And for all I knew, he was dating others as well. So it wasn't like we were committed to each other. This was really just a get to know you process and decide, would I give up the rotation for this person? So that's the way I looked at it. It's just a means to an end, really. But for me, once I met someone that, was pretty cool and met my criteria and all that sort of thing, the rotation disappeared. And then if the guy dumped me or I dumped him in the end, then the rotation would pick up again once the wounds had healed from the previous relationship. But that's basically how it worked for me, and how it helped to manifest love for me was really just about my mindset. So it really helped me to get my thoughts, emotions, and actions aligned with my own desirability, and the idea, or the knowing that there were plenty of really good men out there, and I just needed to find the one that was my match. And it took me a while to meet him, but it definitely helped me to get there a lot sooner than if I'd gone just the traditional one at a time and sitting by the phone waiting for a guy to call. Like, that would never have got me there. So anyway, that's rotational dating. If you have any questions, reach out. If you're wanting to learn more about how you can also manifest love into your life, then check out the Manifest Love little course I've released. So if you head over to empoweredlifeprograms.com/manifest, you'll see it over there, and it's free and it's only short, so you can get in and out pretty quickly, but it will help you to start shifting yourself vibrationally into alignment with that relationship that you desire. So I'll leave you with that.